This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first. Make your coffee to perfection. Expect nothing else. Do you like to make yourself a hot cup of coffee to start your day? We have both whole bean and grounded. Also great for all you iced coffee if not a hot kind of person. Even make yourself a frappe to quench your thirst. The best tasting coffee with espresso. It's only $18.99 plus taxes for a 12-ounce bag. Buy 1 to 5 bags and shipping is only $7. If you spend over $100, shipping is
Hey, good evening, Bears fans, and welcome to another edition of the Wednesday Halas Hall Report. Of course, with me tonight, I got Woody Bear Down, and he has no opinion on any Bears topic ever or in general. And then, he came out from the dark to come into the light to join us tonight. It's Bear fan Dan. Good evening, gentlemen. I hope you're doing well. Got two big pieces of breaking news, and we'll get into it. The first one is on Randy Moss. Now, last night it was reported that Randy Moss has cancer, and that was by Marvin Harrison Sr. Well, today, Randy Moss's son clapped back, said, "My pops don't talk to you. Keep his name out your mother effing mouth," was basically the gist of it. So he is now denying the report that his father has cancer, liver cancer, even though Marvin Harrison Jr. broke that yesterday after Moss said he was leaving ESPN to tackle a health-related issue. So there is some drama there. Now, I would assume that Marvin Harrison Jr. and Randy Moss talk. I mean, they're in a very small community. You would assume they do at some point. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. And the other big, huge piece of breaking news that will impact the Chicago Bears, or at least some of you it will. Yes, the old man, the maker of goats, will not be available to coach the Chicago Bears. No, he is not. He is going to be a North Carolina Tar Heel head coach. Yes, Bill Belichick finalizing the deal to coach the Tar Heels. Woody, what do you think?
That's a shocker to me. And if anybody knew that Bill Belichick was going to go to college, please call me because I'm going to call you a fucking liar.
I mean, Dan, we saw reports where, we saw a couple reports last week where he was flirting with the college idea. Are you surprised that he actually is going to the NCAA instead of the NFL?
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't think he was going to go to the NFL, and definitely didn't think he was going to go to college. I thought, 72 years old, I was thinking, yeah, he's retired, and, didn't want to come in and to go to a rebuilding team.
Well, and the only thing I could think of with NFL teams that he knows are looking for a head coach, none of them are going to give him the GM control he wants.
Right.
But as a head football coach at a college program, he controls everything from top to bottom, recruitment, everything. So from that aspect, to me, it makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, a little bit of a shock today. So he will not be coaching the Bears next year.
Wow.
Yeah, darn it.
Get him off the list.
Yep, knock him off the list, and God, the internet. We'll talk about the head coaching situation here in a little bit because, the internet has gone rampant with everything, and now of course the Ryan Poles rumor mill is he's gonna get fired. He's gonna resign. Let me just say this: Kevin Warren came out point blank He will be the GM in 2025. There are no plans at all to move on from him. He will be there through the end of his contract, which, by the way, is 2025. The bigger news there is he was on a 4-year deal, not a 5-year deal like Flus was. So he's going to be in a contract year, so to speak, with this draft and next season. So right now, and then the dynamic that he may resign because he has to answer to Kevin Warren instead of McCaskey. I mean, he's answering to a football guy instead of a non-football guy. He was always going to answer to one person. He still only answers to one person. So, but that story's out there, and so certain Packer fans and other people are like, "Oh my God, they're going to get rid of Poles. Poles sucks. He's a bum. He hasn't drafted any good players. He hasn't signed any good players." Like, Woody, I just want to bitch slap those people.
Yeah, they signed. He did a good job, but what confuses me is, like, I think it was 2 weeks ago that Warren and Poles came out, same interview, saying that they're both going to be deciding on the head coach, which I think is a little bit bullshit. So, but Warren, I think it's more Warren that's going to be choosing that head coach.
Well, Warren came out and clarified that, said that Poles will be selecting the head coach, but he will have input. That was the article I saw.
Okay.
I have a hard time with some of these articles, whether it be Bears Wire, Sports Mockery, or whoever, because, like the Poles might quit. All the Packer fans love to say that one. There isn't a credible source on it. It's just some guy at a computer, making assumptions. There's no credible source linked to it. So I don't know. We'll let that drama play out. We don't know what's going on behind the closed doors there. No one does. But all we can take from what Warren said, the Bears aren't, going to fire him. Poles will be selecting the next head coach. Warren will be a part of the process, but the final decision, he said, is Poles. Whether that's what they say in public, but not what they do behind closed doors, that's anyone's guess. But I don't think. I mean, look, now that we've gotten rid of our head coach, Packer fans like Rob have to have some other kind of drama to yell about for the Bears, to point their little fingers and do their little smack talk. But for me, I'm not even worried about it. I mean, Woody, are you worried about it?
No, I'm not worried about it. Nope.
Dan, you?
No.
Yeah, none of us are worried about it.
I don't listen to anybody else. That's all right.
So I don't want to talk about it, but we have to, don't we, Woody?
Yep.
Dan, do you want to talk about it?
We have to.
Right.
All right. Is it ironic that the Bears did better under Eberflus than they did under the new coaching regime? And it's not that they did better; it was night and day difference. Better under Flus than under Brown for his first game as the head coach.
I like to say that he had the first game rookie hangover. I want to see what he does the rest of the year. The only bad thing about losing Flus is his defensive mind, and that's what playing out killed us on. I just can't explain Sunday. I'm going to give Thomas Brown a couple more games, and I'll declare my answer with that.
I mean, Dan, with the defense, to what Woody alluded to, San Francisco was on third and fourth string guys because of their injuries, and they were making the defense look silly stupid.
And they look like Hall of Famers out there.
Yeah. I mean,
but I just was sitting here and just like swearing at the TV. I mean, what was it at halftime? 4 total yards.
I walked more yards in the airport than the Bears had in the first half.
And their offensive line, they were out with their 2 best guys, plus another guy got hurt, and we couldn't get in and hit Purdy.
I mean,
I'm like, this is coach's first game, whatever. Still unacceptable.
I mean, normally you get a guy, you don't expect a big win, I mean, it's happened, but you expect them to not look like a high school football team for a guy who they all say they want to play for and fight for, and they come out looking just, and then my son, being optimistic, like, Dad, you know we're a second team later. I know. And then we're watching the second half, and he goes, yeah, we're not going to be a second half team this week.
Not this
And,
game.
and he started playing on his phone. He's like, yeah, forget this. I'm just going to be listening to the game in case we do anything. See what Caleb does in the second half. I mean, okay, there is a positive. Caleb did have a few shiny moments, some nice drives in the second half. The backwards pass fumble thingy, I'm like, oh, okay. His first turnover in 7 games, still no interceptions in 7 games. I was like, there was a little bit of silver, wasn't there? Or a
Yeah,
little.
so I want to know what their minds are like coming out of the halftime, because first drive touchdown. Why can't they do that? I don't understand why. Last year, and I'll say it again, Bears #1 scoring points on the first drive, touchdowns. Now we're the lowest in the league in points in the first quarter. So we come out the second half, bam, score a touchdown. I'm like, you're down by too much. You can't do this on every game. And San Francisco is hurt. So imagine if that was like Kansas City or a high-powered offense and stuff like that. It just amazes me how we're like ass backwards on the first and second halves.
Well, it's like, last year, Woody, we were number 1 or number 2 on running offense. Now we're near the top.
Yep.
Now our passing offense has gone up a little bit. That's cool. Defense is still in the top 10 somehow. Probably not now after last week. Coming into Sunday, we were ranked 8th according to PFF. But once again, that's probably Fluce's defensive mind. I mean, that's going to change. And what gets me with the I just lost it. I'm sorry. Oh, with the defensive, what gets me is the DC we have. There we go. The DC we have. He's been there all year, so he knows this defense. He hasn't called any plays, but he's been there with Fluce all year. Knows the defense. He did call defensive plays in the preseason. So you figured, okay, you lose Fluce, but you've got a DC who's been there. The defense might suffer a little. Dude, that wasn't a little. That was like a lot.
Like, we all know Kittle is good. So I can't explain. Washington, like you said, is there all year. So I don't know what his mind concept was. Oh, these guys are injured, let's lax. So we just get fucking hammered. So, like I said, with this whole new coaching staff, I want to see what they do the rest of the year.
Okay, I hate to feed into the John Dorn thing there, but John,
wow,
that's a good one. But, well, I think was it Robert said Belichick's girlfriend is in her senior year, so and then Dorn says Belichick loves college women. So is this Belichick's way of getting his girlfriend a free college education? There, I did it. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Or you can go to Penn State and be Sandusky, whatever one.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But going back to this game, I mean, and I think with Brown, I mean, look at we all said it was a tall task to go from the interim OC to the interim head coach. But then you're calling the plays from up high for 3 weeks. Now you're calling plays from field level. That's a difference because he's not seeing on the field level as what he saw up high. So you figured that maybe he had a little bit of a learning curve with that. It was terrible, man. I mean,
yeah, there's nothing good to say about the Bears on Sunday.
No.
You let me know what you saw that was good, except for that first drive in the second half when they scored a touchdown, which they should have done in the first half.
Yeah,
they ain't nothing good. Nothing.
I mean, Caleb had a couple moments in the second half, a couple drives that looked better, but it's like they need to do it, like you said, Woody. They got to do it in the first half. And like even when you go back to the other games in the division, like for a couple of them at least, like okay, the first drive sucked, the second drive sucked, but by the second quarter they were good. The Lions game, the first half they sucked, the second half they were good, right? I mean, I don't know why they can't script the first 15 any better than they're doing. Like at this point, if the first drive doesn't work, just throw the script away, man, and just make the adjustment right away. So, yeah, I mean, there's not much we can say about Sunday, man. I mean, Rome looked okay, Keenan looked okay, DJ looked okay. Komet had a really bad game. Um, Swift definitely missed not having Roshan in the lineup.
We lost the
kicker. Well, the good, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
What?
The good thing. Well, this is good and bad. Is that Bears keep losing now? If the season ended today, we'd be 9th pick, I believe.
I think we were the 9th coming into last week. We might have dropped a little bit lower. We're going to be a top 10 at this rate.
Yeah.
And that's where John asked, do you want to tank for a better pick or go out strong? I mean, look at, okay. I said this in the morning too. I think as fans, and let me know if I'm wrong, if you guys disagree, but I think as fans, we want the team to win because it's our team. We want them to win. Analytically thinking, though, putting our analytical hats, podcasters hat on or whatever, we want the better pick. But we still want our team to win on Sunday on the one hand, but on the other hand, we want the better pick. Would that be accurate?
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, what do we have to lose? I mean, they had a interview with Keenan. He wants to come back a Bear, which whatever that means. So it depends on, who's up on contracts, who we draft, which I would think I don't care which pick we get. You pick the best offensive lineman. I don't want to hear trading out. I want more picks. No. First pick, I don't care where it is. You pick the best offensive lineman left available. That's where you start.
Yeah, I know. I heard, and I think so. Last time I looked, we had 32 players under contract for next year, 32, 33, somewhere around there. About 82 million in cap. I looked at the free agency list for unrestricted free agents for offensive line under the age of 30. You want Cody Whitehair kind of guys back because that's basically what's out there. There isn't much out there for guys who are under the age of 30. It's pretty slim pickings. And considering about half the league needs offensive linemen, it seems, this year, those guys are going to come way overpriced. We've got about 5 or 6 guys that will probably be re-signing, like Tevin Jenkins, Keenan Allen, for example. Those are 2 of the guys. We got some extensions we'll probably need to work on. But we're not fixing this team via free agency. We're fixing it via draft, and we're getting some backup kind of players probably in free agency, some rotational type of guys that we can get at a decent price. That's probably what I would figure. Dan, where are you? Are you about there, or where are you at in that?
I'm not, just tell you the truth, I'm not don't know much about that end of the football.
I don't want no Reynolds on this team. No more Reynolds.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, unless like you have a Garrett Miles kind of guy pop up as an edge rusher, there even at the edge, there isn't much. There isn't going to be much on what is known as the UDFA list right now. Right? If you look at the guys who could be unrestricted free agents at the end of the season on offensive line and edge rushers, and you say cap the age at about maybe 30, which even that might be too old for Poles, right? Because he likes them at 26, 27, 28 tops. Unless you're Miles Garrett kind of talent, it's pretty slim in both those areas, which are areas of need. I think Keenan will do a 2 or 3 year deal. Probably his SPO track is 16 mil a year. Like, look, if you make it so you're only dropping 12 or 13 mil a year off the salary cap, you might be able to get him at 16 mil a year, with a cap friendly kind of deal. I could see the Bears doing that. I think, we're good at position players. The tight end we signed, what's his name that we got from, he was a 1 year deal. He may not come back.
Who, Everett?
Everett. I think Everett was a 1-year deal. I think he was on the list. And it comes into actually what Dorn is saying, like get the right coach. I think whatever coach we get, the expectation is playoffs today, not in 2 years. You don't have 2 years to build it in your image. Here is this player set. You need to make the playoffs this year.
I don't know. I'm just sick of fucking losing. That's just plain and simple. But yeah, we can't take our time to get a coach. We need one now. To think about it, we need one now.
You know, Bears Twitter, some other Bears fans, they like to talk about Ben Johnson. What do you guys feel about Ben Johnson?
I think he's going home. I think Bryce Young's coming out of his shell. The rumors that Ben Johnson, once wanted to go to Chicago last year, blah blah blah. I don't think he's coming to Chicago. I think he's going to go home to Carolina, if anything.
What do you think, Dan?
I wouldn't mind having Ben Johnson, but no.
For me, it's like who's Ben Johnson? Look, he's not bringing that O line with him. Who's Ben Johnson bring with him as a first-time head coach? Who's his DC going to be? Right? Who's his O line coach going to be? Who's his quarterback coach going to be? I don't know if I want a first-time coach, and I don't know if I want to wait till the Lions are done with their playoff run, and it could mean the Super Bowl, to hire my head coach. I'm not big on Ben Johnson personally. My criteria, I mean, look at my dream is give me Chucky. Get Gruden in here. That's my dream coach for the Bears next year. But what are the odds of Gruden coming back to the NFL next year?
As much as Bill Cowher is going to come back.
Yeah, he just signed long-term with Barstool, which, I mean, he can go back to coaching. That's not a prohibitor. But the bigger thing is his court case, which they tried to go to arbitration. His lawyers just fought it. The judges just agreed. It's going to trial. I don't know if he's going to, be a head coach while he's suing the NFL.
Nah, he ain't getting that from Chicago. Ben made a clear statement. Bears by saying I want the GM to have contracts tied together.
He also said that he's not going to chase a job that if you're interviewing him, it's because you're giving him the job. I was like, okay, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. Already don't like you just for that. But I mean, the thing I saw the GM, he wanted to make sure that there was a good working relationship. Like, dude, you don't get a say in the GM. The GM gets a say in you. Yeah, he wants a team. That's the part I did like, Robert. He wants a team that admits its problem. Dude, Bears ownership doesn't do anything. They really don't do anything anymore. The last 3 or 4 years, they've been completely hands off the football operation. Virginia's not doing anything at 101 years old, and George is working on the stadium deal. That's about it. So it's not ownership. Ownership hasn't been getting involved. It's basically Warren and Poles run that organization.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to get fucked up somewhere.
So what about Mike Vrabel? What do you think about him, Odie? That's another name getting kicked around a lot.
Yep, that's a name I heard today that they're talking to him already. Man. I wouldn't mind defensive, correct? Defensive minded?
Yep, defensive mind.
That's because if Thomas Brown obviously goes back down to OC, he can also groom Williams, but I think the grooming comes with the head coach. That's why I'm not sure between a defensive and offensive minded coach, but I say Vrabel's in my top 5. Definitely.
I think for me, I entertain Vrabel too because he has a track history of good coordinators on the offensive side of the ball. In fact, one of them is now the head coach in Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers. You guys want him back. Yeah, he's doing good in New York, or I'm sorry, New Jersey. You can get him back.
But I mean, Oh, hold on. Let me ask you this, Rob. Do you think ownership is the whole problem in Chicago, or is the problem?
No,
Thank you.
that's would I take McCarthy? Hell no.
No.
No,
Robert will though. Robert loves McCarthy because he got him a
no.
Super Bowl. But
And speaking of McCarthy, they fire him. I know Kellen Moore is in Philadelphia. I wouldn't mind having Kellen Moore as a head coach. Even, he's really young. Uh, he's probably in my top 3 to groom Caleb Williams.
well, with Vrabel, I know I can probably get a good. I'm going to probably get a good OC with him. And he's got a track record of it. If he's done, as a defensive mind coach. See, that's the other thing. I I don't care if the head coach is offensive or defensive minded. To me, that point's moved. No matter which you choose, my bigger criteria is because look at they're obviously a good DC or good OC for talking to them for a head coach job, right? We know they can run a good offense or a good defense. My criteria is more or less the other side of the ball. Do you have a track record or history of hiring good coaches for the other side of the ball for the areas that you're not strong in? So if you're defensive, like Lovie Smith, love him, but he sucks and has a terrible history at offensive coordinators. His best ever offense was the '06 Bears, and they were ranked 15th, right? That was his best ever offense because he sucked at hiring offensive coordinators. You've got offensive coaches that suck at hiring defensive coordinators. If I'm getting an offensive minded coach, I want a guy who's going to bring in a good DC. If I get a defensive minded coach, I want a guy who brings in a good OC to complement. That's where I'm at with this. So Vrabel has that history. What's out of Philly, the guy you're talking about? I don't know if he's got that history for the defense.
No, because when he was coordinator, Chargers or Dallas, he had Quinn?
Yep.
No, he had Quinn. It's just hard it's hard to say because Bears fuck up so much with coaching, picking their coaches, not just the head coach, all down the board. Why is the offensive lineman or coach still there? That's the question I'm trying to answer, because our offensive line was better last year than this year. So I can't explain it.
With Jacksonville, do you think they're firing their head coach?
Peterson, yes.
What would you think of Peterson in Chicago? Because he's got over. I mean, here's the argument for him, right? He won a Super Bowl as head coach. He took a team in Jacksonville that had no talent and made them a contender for at least a good season and a half. And then the no talent kind of caught up with them at the end of last year and this year. So Chicago, obviously, you should be able to make the argument Chicago has a lot more talent than what Jacksonville does. And we saw what he can do with talent. Look what he did in Philly. That would be the argument for him in Chicago.
I'd say no on him, though. I really would.
I mean, I'm kind of with you, but you see the perplexing.
Yeah, I know.
There is that argument, and and I don't know what's up with Jacksonville. But yeah, he took a no talent team, made them talented, and or made them competitive, and then the fact that their guys aren't that good got exposed. So he's going to be interesting because him and Vrabel, really, if you look at their coaching records, I mean, there's some similarities there.
Both ex-players.
Yep.
Yeah,
Vrabel is more of a man's man kind of coach, not a tactician kind of guy, right? He's not the clipboard with the pencil in the ear kind of guy. He's more of I'm going to kick your freaking ass down the field kind of guy. So there is something to be said about that. But that's why I still go. If I could get Gruden, I'd love to get Gruden. Hey, bring Saleh in as your DC because let him get like guys who get fired as the head coach of their first job go back to being a DC or an OC for 2 or 3 seasons and then go back to be a head coach. Another guy who could be a good OC thing, let's say you get Vrabel. Well, if Vrabel gets fired in New York, Let him come and be your OC in Chicago with Vrabel as your head coach. I'm happy with that. Vrabel's the guy who turned a certain stud quarterback in around up there in Buffalo. I'm okay with that if he's my OC if he gets fired in New York. If Vrabel were to bring him in as his OC and Vrabel as the head coach, I actually would be happy there.
What, Brian Dable?
Yeah, bring Dable in to be Vrabel's OC. If Dable gets fired as the head coach in New York, which he very well might.
So where do you think Thomas Brown would go? Do you think Chicago would let him go?
Yeah, how do you keep him? I mean, how many times have you seen where the interim head coach does not get the job and then stays on as a DC or OC? I mean, that's why I didn't like them promoting Brown to the interim head coach because you almost had, because here's the problem. If I'm the interim this year, right, and you come in as new head coach this next year, and Dan has a problem, well, it wasn't like that when Ken was coaching. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I mean, we know they're supposed to be professional and that shouldn't make a difference. But let's face it, they're human. It does. So I don't think that there's any way the Brown is even in the Bears organization next year.
Oof.
I mean, can anyone think in the comments? Or, I mean, or what? I mean, I can't think of any time the interim head coach didn't get retained as the new head coach, and those don't work out either, by the way. And then stayed on back as an OC or a DC. I can't think of any recently where that's happened. So Brown is going to be gone. He's going to be a good OC for someone next year.
I think the only intern head coach right now would probably be Pierce, correct, from the Raiders?
Yep, and Pierce may be gone after this season.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you your opinion about this. I know you're talking about Vrabel. What do you think of Stefanski from Cleveland if he gets fired?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, so am I. He's in my top three. Yeah.
Yeah, I think and I was talking and everyone's Bear fan Mike's not here with us tonight. He's in the hospital having chest pains, non-heart side. Him and I were talking on the phone when he was on his way home from work, leaving work for the chest pains. And we talked about this a little bit, and he actually brought that up too. And he said he would even give up draft picks to get him.
That's where I don't. No, you don't trade draft capital for a coach. I don't. No.
I agree with you. I agreed with you. But he said, "Well, what if he gave up a future second round?" I'm like, no,
because he was talking about Shanahan with that aspect too. No way.
Yeah, no. Could he get fired in Cleveland?
Stefanski?
Yeah.
I think he's on the bubble. I think he's on the bubble more than Shanahan. I think Shanahan is back in San Fran next year.
I mean, Stefanski, look, it wasn't his move to change the quarterbacks like he did, right?
No.
I mean, the whole reason that team derailed was because the GM decided, well, Baker Mayfield, I'm going to screw you over, put 5 or 10 daggers in your back and kick you out. And go overpay for Deshaun Watson, and oh, by the way, he's probably not going to play at all for 3 years almost, and we're going to suck now because we have no quarterback. That wasn't on Stefanski. That was on the GM.
And Jameis Winston's not doing too bad. I thought he was going to do a lot worse.
I think he's done better than Winston has.
Yeah.
Better than
Watson
has. Yeah. So I mean. If they fire him, that's another guy I jump all over. Now, is he offensive back or defense background? I can't remember.
What's that?
Stefanski.
Let me see. Stefanski.
Oh, while you look at that. The other good thing about Vrabel, he runs a 4-3, which is what we currently run. That's the other thing. If I'm going to get a defensive head coach, I want a defensive head coach that runs a 4-3. I don't want to change the defensive schemes because that means personnel change. I don't want that. I want a 4-3. If you're a defensive-minded head coach, which like Vrabel, you got to run a 4-3. And if you're an offensive head coach, your new coordinator needs to run a 4-3 as well.
Yeah, he's offense. Stefanski.
He's offense. So that's the Stefanski. It means get me a good DC that's going to run a 4-3.
Yeah, so no changes. Okay.
Yeah. Like offensive scheme is easier to adapt to than defensive scheme.
Oh yeah.
Offensive scheme, you're not necessarily changing your person. You don't have to change. What was his name that Green Bay just got rid of at the trade deadline?
Who? Who? Their defensive.
Yeah,
Zadarius Thomas.
Zadarius Thomas was a stud, and then,
Yep.
then when they changed, they're like, "Oh, Zadarius is going to fit right in." Zadarius didn't fit into that defense.
I'm sorry, Zadarius Smith. My bad.
Smith, yeah, Smith didn't fit in, and ended up trading him because he didn't fit the scheme anymore. He's still a great player. He just didn't fit the scheme. Like Roquan didn't fit our new scheme when we traded him to Baltimore. So I don't want to have to go through that. Like we got good personnel group on defense. You could honestly say we're an edge rusher short of being there. Maybe some interior line redundancies might help. Some more guys in the rotation because the rotation is not that deep. But I mean, I don't want to change scheme. So Stefanski works as long as he's going to bring a DC, or maybe Vrabel becomes his DC, or Robert Saleh becomes his DC.
Yeah.
So I mean,
But he's been with Green Bay's organization ever since Jets fired him.
yeah, Saleh has, yeah.
So, yeah. So the definite coaching vacancies, like definite, would only be the Bears and the Saints. They both have intern coaches right now.
Correct.
But we know some teams like, Jacksonville, maybe the Giants, maybe the Raiders. We don't know yet until it happens, but those are the two vacancies right now, are Bears and the Saints.
Give me a second. Let me hop on Bleacher and just pull up the standings overall. Okay, conference standings. Okay, so in the AFC, the bottom feeder teams, the Raiders are 2-11, the Pats are 3-10, but they just hired their coach, so he's probably good. The Titans are 3-10, but he's only in year.
When did Vrabel get fired?
He's in year
fired.
one. He's in year one. He just got there. The Jets have an interim, so they're looking.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
that's right. They do. So it's the Jets too. Okay.
The Jags and the Browns are both 3-10. They might fire their coaches. Everyone else, the Bengals, the Finns, the Colts, and all the playoff teams, they're probably safe. In the NFC, the Giants are 2-11. He could be fired. The Panthers, he's safe. The
You
Bears,
think?
yeah.
What do you think Ben Johnson goes there?
That's the only way he's not safe.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's the only way he's probably not safe. Because he's in year one as well, or is it year two now? Year two. The Cowboys, the Bears have a vacancy. The Cowboys could have a vacancy. The Saints have a vacancy, and they're 5-8. The Niners, I think Shanahan stays. The Cardinals, I think he's fine. The Falcons, he maybe, but probably fine. The Rams, everyone else are probably fine. So there's a couple vacancies. Salah's out there. I think he'll be more. I think a guy like Salah goes back to being a DC though. That's a smart play. Nagy's the heir apparent now to take over for Kansas City. After learning in Chicago, going back to KC, I think he's the heir apparent in KC right now.
Or Spagnuolo leaps him. We know how Spagnuolo worked out in New York.
So right now there's 3 confirmed vacancies with a possibility of 3 or 4 more. And then you got to figure a couple college coaches will probably sneak their way into the league. But right now for the Bears, look at Flus is going to get a job as a DC somewhere, unless he decides to take a year off. But because he's getting paid like the next 2 years,
$20,000 a day.
Yeah, for the next 2 years. Yeah.
Fucking day.
Yeah. Good evening, Paige.
Oh God, Paige, Jesus fucking Christ. That's my stepdaughter.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Paige. So there's no shortage of some good coaches out there. The problem is with
she
the
likes
media.
eggplant.
What now?
She likes eggplant.
Oh.
Go ahead. Oh, here we go.
Here's the thing: if whoever the click media right? All your Facebook articles, X articles, and whatnot, whatever they're saying, probably isn't the guy who's going to get hired.
No, we're always wrong.
Yeah,
Always.
That's why I said.
So we compare on who we want. Who do
Yeah.
you think? Because the Bears' reputation of getting coaches, who would be the worst choice that you think that the Bears would choose? Like the worst choice, like how we were always wrong.
McDaniels.
Oh God, I would fucking quit.
He's killed 2 franchises.
Yep.
Now, might he make a good OC if, let's say, Vrabel is a head coach? You get a defensive coach? Yeah, he would be. And I think he'd come and coach with Vrabel because they have shared history. But, I mean, yeah, that's a possibility there. I mean,
Oof.
Here's one that I think JB said that Ron Rivera already said he didn't want the job. Someone asked him and said, I don't like the McCaskies, whatever. Like, whatever. If he got offered the head coaching job, he'd probably take it. He would put his dislike for George McCaskey aside once he sees the paycheck.
Oh my God.
No,
Sarah.
no, Sarah.
Come on, Sarah.
I'm going to send him to you, Sarah.
You know what? I was rooting for Minnesota on Monday night, but now I'm not sure.
Well, like as an OC, Sarah, I'm not.
Oh.
Now, the way, Sarah, if you meant as an OC, yeah, that's fine. I don't think neither of us would have a problem if Vrabel was a head coach, if McDaniels was the OC. But as a head coach,
Taylor, what the fuck?
Well, Taylor, your head coach could end up being our new OC. I mean, that's a possibility.
Wow.
I mean, there's going to be some good OCs out there, more so than DC. That's why I like maybe Vrabel more so, because the only real good DC that we know is going to be out there right now is Saleh, right? That's the only one 2, Saleh and Flus, and we're not hiring Flus, obviously. So our only option between the 2 is Saleh.
And like I said, some coordinators should stay coordinators and not coaches. And Mick Loser is one of them.
And Saleh, by the way, runs a 4-3, so that's why he's in contention. That's the other piece of it. On offensive side of the ball, though, there's going to be 3 or 4 of them. So there's going to be a couple more. So I think the Bears, though, Woody, I think we're in an attractive place for a head coach to come now because of this roster.
You think more opportunities, you're saying?
Yeah, because in the past, it's always been a quarterback. Like, look, no one was really sold on Fields after year 1. No one was sold on Mitch after year 1. In both cases, the coaches didn't want him. But what coach doesn't want to have Caleb the way Caleb has played his rookie year so far?
Right.
Like, Caleb has just set an NFL record as a rookie quarterback for most games without an interception. That's 7 right now.
Oh, we're not trying to make Giant fans feel bad. It's just we feel bad.
Yeah,
for you.
We're all in the same boat there, Richard. Yeah.
I mean, we all knew Daniel Jones was a joke. Was he worth fucking $45 million? No. Got rid of him.
With the wide receiving core the way it looks, with the talent on both sides of the ball, the player talent on both sides of the ball overall, the Chicago is a very attractive place to go because you don't have to rebuild the roster. You've got a win ready roster for the right coach.
Oh my God, Jody.
Oh, Jody. Jody's not biased, by the way.
Yeah, and Sarah, I am very attractive, so yes, we are.
We are very attractive. Jody, by the way, there's new bags for Bear 6 Actual. They'll be out in a couple of weeks. So I'm about to order another bag. I'm out.
You don't like the whiskey flavor?
I'm drinking Task Force whiskey right now, actually, yeah. I got to wait.
She didn't like that one.
Yeah. I like it, but I don't. I have to be in the mood. But Task Force Sierra is really good. I got a bag of that, too. So I'm good until the new bags arrive for Bear 6 Actual. The new bags look a lot better. It looks really wicked.
And it's a good cause, too. Good cause.
Jody will like the new bag when it comes out.
God.
But I mean, I think we're an attractive place because the Bears are willing to spend the money. The McCaskies are not involved in decision-making processes. It's 2 football guys and Poles and Warren. And you've got a roster that's chock full of talent. So it's not like you're coming to a one or two or three win team that has no talent like you normally do. You're coming to a 4 or 5 win team, assuming they say we can win one more game. Let's say we're a 5 win team that has a ton of talent and just needs the right coach.
Sarah, I'm going to be in charge next year. Now, and off topic of quarterbacks, just wanted to bring this up too, since we have 15 minutes left. I guess I read it right. They approved the taxes on the new stadium in Arlington Heights.
They did.
So
that was about a week. I want to say about a week ago.
I just heard it today.
Yeah, I was on the cruise ship, and I think I was on the cruise ship. And I saw the article, but it hasn't. So that was one of the barriers that happened why they stopped it and started looking back at Chicago. And that whole thing with that was because the city of Chicago, very smart, hired a political action group to muddy the waters for the people of Arlington, so they voted against the tax. So now they reversed that. And now, because Governor Pritzker came out and said, well, there'll be no public funds spent on a stadium for the Bears downtown. And he keeps saying it. So honestly, like McCaskey or Warren, whichever one of you two is making that final call, just please make the call and break ground already in Arlington Heights. Because first off, you own the land. You're not leasing anything. You're going to own the stadium. You're making all the profit. You don't have to deal with the shitty Chicago Park District field maintenance people who suck.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're going to be a dome, so it means you're probably going to be turf, unless you're going to try to do something like they do in Arizona. Or you can be natural grass in a dome now. I mean, the technology is there. I mean, just I would just, it's just go to Arlington Heights already. As much as that will piss off certain fans, it's just like, just build the stadium. I mean, if there's any detractor to someone wanting to be a head coach in Chicago, I think that's more of it than anything. They can't even figure out what they're going to do for a stadium. And, the lease ends in 2030 of the current deal. We were hoping to be there by 2026. Now maybe 2027, 2028. Well, there were some plans that had us there, next season already for 25. Obviously, that's not going to happen.
No.
I don't know. I think go to Arlington. What do you think?
Yeah. Yep. More revenue with the dome, but all Chicago Bears fans that go to all the games, season ticket holders and stuff, just got to get used to when you go inside, you don't have to be so bundled up, only on the tailgate.
And I think the stat, and I might be a little off, but I'm probably pretty close. If I remember it correctly, 85% of the season ticket holders, guess where they live?
In Chicago.
Northwest suburbs. We're talking Arlington, Rolling Meadows, Buffalo Grove, Wheeling, my hometown, Schaumburg, Hoffman, that area, Palatine. That's where most of the ticket holders live anyways. Cole Kmet's parents live right down the street from it. That's where Cole Kmet grew up. So, I mean, I just like do Arlington. Yeah, because with the dome, now we're hosting WrestleMania. They're getting the money for it. They're doing the monster truck rallies, the Taylor Swift tours, and all that.
But most importantly is that they can probably host a Super Bowl now.
A Super Bowl, yep. And the Bears make all that. The city doesn't. The city will make money off hotels and other revenue, but the Bears are going to get the full ticket gate, the full. They're going to get the full everything. They're not paying the city anymore. Right. I hope they go to Arlington, man. I mean, I get it. Iconic to be on the lakefront. Holes at the heart. I get it. My whole life I've been going to games on the lakefront, but things change, man.
So what do you think? Do you think their helmets will stay the same now?
What do you mean?
Chicago with the C?
Oh, yeah. Look how many teams don't play down. Look at New York. They don't even play in New York State. They
don't even play in the state.
Yeah, they play in New Jersey.
Yep. I met a hot boy in Chicago at a bar one time. I went there. Well, thanks for the update, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Yeah.
Wasn't me, or it would be me, but that's fine. I'm one sexy bitch. Yeah, I was gone that day.
Woody and I weren't there that time, obviously, and we were probably both already married, so
yeah,
kind of eliminated ourselves.
Oh man.
No, I mean, this Speaking of uniforms, though, I know the Lions fans, JB is really superstitious about the throwback.
Oh yeah.
Do you care whether we're wearing the 1936 throwback or the Orange Crush or any of
I
the different
I
throwbacks?
I like the Orange Crush, but we suck playing with them. I think I think
We beat Washington on the road last year in them.
didn't we beat Dallas in Dallas the one year as well?
We may have.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything to it. I know some guys are superstitious like that. I do like the Orange Crush.
Yeah, JP was hoping that they wouldn't wear those ugly uniforms on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah. So, hey guys, the Bears, though, we play Monday night, so we'll definitely get into the Monday's game on Sunday's show at 11 a.m. Noon Eastern. So Sarah will have to join us. Sarah, would you like to come on the air with us Sunday morning? We'll send you the link.
She's scared.
She's scared.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they've given up, because you've seen how they played when they made the offensive coordinator change from Waldron to Brown. Like I said, I'll declare that the next couple of weeks on that, but I don't think they giving up the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think they really wanted to do well for Brown, but
should I expect a win? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I'll get into. I took the Bears on the Pick'em show, just out of being a Bears fan, not letting logic make my choice for me. Sarah, if that tells you anything, you guys should probably win that game, but I'll end up taking the Bears. Bears fan after all, because there is if Brown and this team can bounce back, right? I mean, played you guys really, really good the first time, so it's not like we know we can play you guys well. Oh, she'll come on Sunday. Sweet. Send me a inbox on Facebook or on X.
I'll see it to believe it, Sarah.
And I'll get you the link. Yeah, Kirk had a real bad homecoming. So it's going to depend on how well this team rebounds. It depends on the injury report. Which what do you? I know it's late, but you have.
It doesn't say. Believe it or not, does not say anything on the injury report. All it says was DeAndre Carter was put on IR.
Really? What was DeAndre Carter put on IR for?
His hamstring.
Okay. So all the concussion guys might have cleared finally.
Roshan, well, according to yesterday, Roshan, Hicks, and Bates are still questionable. That's it.
And isn't Brisker back this week?
They're talking about maybe him coming back this week, but they said in the coming weeks. I was like, dude, just sit him. Maybe play him. I mean,
in one way, I kind of agree with you there. What do you think about our depth at safety and corner?
Well, I like our corners. Terrell Smith, I like him as a player. Byard,
Not getting any younger.
Yeah, Hicks is out, like he's questionable. I think we need a little bit more depth on safety, maybe. But I think our corners are.
I even like Stevenson. I mean, Stevenson, because everyone knows they're going after Stevenson at corner, yet he's still in the top half of the league with everyone going at him because they're not going against JJ or
Addison.
Yeah, so I mean, he's still playing well. People get on him because of the thing in Washington. Fine, I get that. That was a bad thing that didn't affect him in the play. He still was the guy who made the play on the ball, which, look, he gets up a half inch, not even a millimeter more. That ball maybe goes forward and not backwards. That was there's some luck there. But as a player, athletically, what he's doing on the field has been pretty good. I would agree, though, with you. I want more depth and safety.
Yeah, in the first game against Minnesota, we held JJ to 2 catches only.
Yeah,
and they still beat us.
Sarah, if you're on X, you can find me at, well, my name's right there, Ken Da Bear Fan. If you're on Facebook, go to, well, you can just send it to Ken Doby. You can send it to me there, but not under the Huddle Sports Network. I won't get that message, I don't think. No, I won't. Or you can send it to the Mike the Bear Fan page. I'll get it that way.
Sarah, I will see it to believe it if you're on the show Sunday. And this time, if you do, turn your camera on.
Who knows? We might find some cute boys for you to talk to. Not us, because we're married. But no, yeah. So you can get me any one of the ways. X is actually can become a good way. In fact, most of our viewers right now, if I look at this, yeah, are on X. We got 60 viewers on X right now. Out of the 64 watching. So X. So you can find me on X too. I put a lot of the shows on X. All the Viking shows are on X as well. So yeah, just get a hold of me, Sarah. I'll get you the link. Going back to this weekend's games, I mean, look at it. Yeah, we got players coming back. If we rebound for Coach Brown, and he rebounds well, this could be a really good game. It might not be a blowout. If they play like they did last Sunday, it's going to be a blowout. If we play like we did just a couple weeks ago, it's going to be a great game. So while Woody's talking to Jody, this can go either way.
Sorry about that. I was talking to my mother.
Oh, no problem. I thought you were talking to Jody.
No.
Hey, Woody's mom.
Yeah, she's Christmas a little rough. It's going to be without my dad. So, but yeah, other than that, yeah.
So yeah, guys, the coaching conundrum will be. Look, I mean, I don't want to talk about the coaching search every show. We'll still talk about it, guys, but maybe only if something actually breaks for now. We'll talk about Brown and his prospects, of course, as the season goes on. We're going to probably start looking more into player re-signings in the next couple of weeks. I think that's something we'll probably get into. Woody, do you think polls is an issue, or do you think that's pretty safe?
What I said the other day too is I know Warren. I think Warren's making most of the head coach. I don't trust polls choosing our next coach. That's just me. Even though Warren polls say we're making a dual decision, it's going to be whatever. I'm thinking it should go more on Warren than it does on polls. That's just me, though.
There you go, Sarah. The link to my X is in the chat. Yeah, I think from what he said, I think polls is safe. So I'm not. But if anything breaks, we'll talk about it. But I don't think Woody or I are anticipating.
No.
That. Bear fan Mike, if you're watching, brother, hope you feel better. Hope it's nothing serious. We lost Dan there a bit, and then Mike, the Bear fan. We can't wait till you're not on roofs anymore, so you're actually with us on Wednesdays.
He's a foreskin now, so he makes all those decisions.
Yeah, he makes all the decisions. Of course, thank you guys for watching Woody and I, because neither of us have an opinion on anything ever. Yeah, ever. Never have an opinion. Oh, by the way, Chicago, great job firing your head coach for your hockey team. Yes, the Blackhawks. It's contagious. The Blackhawks have an interim head coach now. So if you're a head coach in Chicago, your job security is not so good these days overall. Yeah, my Blackhawks. But hopefully we'll have a good game Monday night. Of course, we'll be back here Sunday. Don't forget, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. we'll be here for Ken and Ken. JB's Roundtable will follow Woody and I, and they're about an hour to an hour and a half pick'em show after us. You can catch it on all our channels, X and otherwise. We've got open mic night Saturday. Saturday night open mic night was at 7 p.m. Central, or is that 8?
I think it's 7 Central.
7 Central, 8 Eastern. And then Red Zone Rant will be on an hour before we are back on for Halas Hall on Sunday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 Eastern. So make sure you join in for those shows. Also, Valhalla Hour and School 365 on Saturday as well. I think that's it for show plugs. I think I plugged all the shows. Oh, the Packers, they have their show tomorrow, Friday.
I think Friday, Frozen Tundra.
Yeah, Friday's Frozen Tundra. That's at either 7 or 8 Central. I get that time confused too. I'm old. What do you play? But hey, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Thank you for the continued support. We will see you back here for Halas Hall on Sunday. Woody, thank you for being here, my friend.
Bear down.
Bear down.